Hello everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing The Creator, directed by Gareth Edwards and starring John David Washington, Gemma Chan, Ken Watanabe, Allison Janney, and Madeleine Yuna Voiles. In the distant future, AI and mankind are at war with one another, as John David Washington searches for AI's superweapon, which turns out to be a young child. So, getting straight into the positives of The Creator, and it really is quite an obvious one. You can see it in the trailers. The sets, the locations, the design of this movie, it's jaw-dropping. I believe a lot of this was filmed in Thailand, if I'm not mistaken, and it is filmed with a somewhat reasonable budget of £80 million, which is very impressive when you consider the cost of all of these other blockbusters that have been trying to justify £100 million, £200 million budgets and just utterly failing to even come close to making their money back because of that budget. Yeah, this is absolutely the way to go forward. For that, I have to give immense praise to the team who worked on this movie, because this world is vibrant, it pops, it feels like you can reach out and touch it. I like some of the small details, when they needed to wear helmets, when they didn't need to wear helmets. All of the farming in the background, giving a small suggestion as to how the food chain works here. All of that I loved about this movie, and it's top drawer sci-fi. And Gareth Edwards is someone who has always been very good at bringing scale to the big screen. He's done it with Godzilla, he did it with one of his very first movies called Monsters. If you haven't seen it, check it out, it's actually quite good. And he keeps that trend up here, especially with a ship that you'll see in the poster called the Nomad. The scale of this thing is just enormous. You really do feel the weight and the gravity and how powerful that ship is. It's also got a very cool design, just like the rest of the world does as well. And the effects were refreshingly well done. Some of the CGI this year in particular has been nothing short of god-awful. So to actually see a movie that doesn't have a £200 million budget bring a very well-made CGI-heavy movie to the screen that at times is very convincing is incredibly refreshing, and it's just, I don't know, it's re-lightened my soul slightly to go, oh god, it can be done. Not everyone in Hollywood is a money-grabbing idiot. Thank you, Gareth Edwards. And I have to admit that I thought the action in the movie was very enjoyable. I didn't find it went too far and got over the top and silly. I thought the music complemented the scenes well. There is definitely a lot to like about The Creator. But notice how I only used the word like and not love? Yep, let's get into the negatives, unfortunately. I don't think the performances were that good in this movie. Might take some heat for this one. It's not that I think John David Washington is a bad actor, it's just I don't think he's a leading man. He's new to this gig, he's still cutting his teeth, and personally I always think he's better when he's bouncing off somebody else, which leads me to believe that he should probably be a supporting actor instead. Just for now, it's not to say he can never be a lead, but he does constantly feel a bit overwhelmed with the task of having to be the standout figure of a movie. He can be a bit of a shrinking violet, and I'm equally not that blown away by the young kid. I'm not so easily fooled by these very cute children. This heart is made of ice, baby. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't awful. Again, the child actor, Madeleine Yuna Voiles, I believe her surname was, she's not awful, but she's just one of those kids who are just insanely adorable, and it's manipulative when she's giving it all the big puppy dog eyes and a little bit of snot out of her nose and I don't want to do. Yeah, it's just manipulative. I know you're trying to make me cry, and you're doing it with a cute kid rather than actually giving me solid emotional material. And that does bring me to the biggest problem of this movie. This mega epic sci-fi movie is bizarrely puddle deep. It does present some good and interesting ideas, but they go absolutely nowhere all of the time. There's an opening montage that tells us how we got from where we are today to where we are in this movie. And to be honest, I looked at that and thought, yeah, it's interesting, but that in itself could have been a movie. It felt like I was picking up Lord of the Rings and just flicking through it. Yeah, I got all of that. There's a whole idea where you can simulate yourself and you can loan out your likeness, if you will. Or even have your memory put onto a memory stick, ironically, and put into another robot and they can look through your memories. And does it go anywhere? No, of course it doesn't. Because for some reason the creator just doesn't seem to trust its audience. And instead it's going to throw out any of these interesting and actually thought-provoking ideas for very cliche, generic, spoon-fed storytelling where we're just gonna do a basic escort mission from A to B, with a very cute kid who just so happens to be the chosen one. Yeah, sorry, struggling to even say it without yawning. It's the Mandalorian with Baby Yoda, it's The Last of Us with Joel and Ellie. I mean, I could sit here for 10 minutes listing any of these escort missions. It's just another one. And oh my god, have I seen this done to death. It is beyond predictable now. It's not only predictable, but it's just unengaging. It doesn't help the fact that just a month or two ago, I sat down and watched Ghost in the Shell for the very first time, which was amazing. It was mind-blowing. It goes into avenues and ideas that I couldn't even begin to comprehend fully. And there's no reason why the creator couldn't be a Ghost in the Shell. It just doesn't ever try to. It shows a fun idea and then just moves on. Over and over and over and over. And I do not understand why this movie is chaptered. There's absolutely no need for it, especially when the third chapter is basically nearly half the movie. Which, on that note, it's also way too long, especially for what it actually ends up being. You have all of this massive runtime. Do something with it. Don't just basically steal the plot of Last of Us, or any other cliche escort mission that all do the same bloody thing. And sadly, the highest score I can give the creator is a 7 out of 10. I wanted to love this, and I ended up just liking it. Fantastic world building and some spectacular action, but it's the story. You can be the most stunning movie in the world, but if you do not have a story, I'm sorry, it's no dice from me. I don't care if you're filmed on a bloody iPhone and cost a tenner. Is the story good? Is it going somewhere? Am I intrigued? Do I want to know more? With the creator, it's a big fat no, because this is the most unimaginative story you could tell in this very imaginative world. Such wasted potential. Looks great, never gonna watch it again. Thanks for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comment section as well. Have you seen the creator? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. And of course, if you haven't had enough of this crazy ginger, we can always click on these suggested videos right here and get yourself lost in an IMO wormhole. But if not, take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.